Scientists are familiar with the birth of animal offspring on land, but what does it look like underwater? How did whales and dolphins, for example, come into being? What are the unique aspects of giving birth to an octopus baby? And which men from the realm of aquatic animals serve as mothers? In this episode, you're going to find out. I'll explain and demonstrate how marine animal pups are born. There'll be a plethora of fascinating sights to view. Let's get started. But before we get started, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe and click the notification bell for more such amazing content. Seahorse. In the undersea world, the seahorse is undoubtedly the most unique parent. We used to believe that females should look after their children, but this aquatic creature's brilliance defies the preconception. During the mating season, the male has the baby in the case of seahorses. It swims up to the female, the two fish snuggle up against each other and the male opens his pocket wide, into which the female throws a few eggs. From 9 to 45 days, the new father carries his future children in a unique pouch on his belly. Scientists have discovered an interesting revelation regarding how the male pocket is directly engaged in the upbringing of babies. It feeds eggs with calcium lipids, oxygen and other nutrients, as well as cleaning the water, according to biologists. The seahorse's job as a father does not end with the caring of the young, as it's made up of products of critical activities. After the fry are born, the male carries them in his pocket for a while, bending his body upward in an arc, opening the pouch and the fry emerges, but they hide there again in case of danger. Yellowhead Jawfish. Many of you are unlikely to have heard of this fish, which lives on coral reefs in the Caribbean Sea. Yellowhead jawfish may be found in depths ranging from 3 to 40 meters. The vivid yellow head and silvery body of this little fish, which is 10 to 12 centimeters in length, makes it easy to identify. Yellowhead jawfish tend to move in small groups of up to 70 individuals across the shallows. In each case, scientists pay special attention to the male individuals of the species, as in the case of seahorses, they make excellent babysitters and breastfeed all of their children themselves, using their lips in a unique manner. The male fertilizes the eggs laid by the female and places them in his massive mouth. It's not simple to raise the children. The guy must abstain from eating for the duration of the nursing phase. Also, in order to provide oxygen to the eggs, it spits it out and sucks them back in on a regular basis, and they're not scattered far away. The paternal instinct of the yellowhead jawfish is deactivated, unlike that of the seahorse with the arrival of fry. It loses interest in and is unconcerned with the offspring. Frilled Shark. Surprisingly little is known about this ancient shark species among experts. This species was initially reported between 1879 and 1881, but research on it has been sluggish since then. The major cause of the challenges is thought to be the ancient shark's enormous depth. It dwells at a depth of roughly 1,575 meters below the surface in the Atlantic and Pacific Seas. Due to the existence of primitive traits, the frilled shark resembles a sea snake or eel more than the shark's closest relatives. The frilled shark is known as a living fossil. Despite its diminutive size, the highest reported length was around 2 meters. It's hardly unexpected that females of the species are bigger than males. Because this species' pregnancy may last up to 3.5 years, they need more stamina to have kids. Unlike other fish that produce a large number of fry, the majority of which do not survive to adulthood, these sharks are concerned with quality rather than quantity. The female of this species has the longest gestation period of any vertebrate, depositing her eggs inside her own body. The offspring grow inside the eggs, eating on the yolk, and only hatch when they are completely developed and capable of surviving on their own. An ancient shark baby is roughly 50 centimeters long when it's born. Unfortunately, scientists have not yet been able to obtain thorough footage of frilled shark birth, but they remain hopeful that a whole documentary series will be filmed in the near future. I'm confident they'll succeed since, with the use of cameras, they just found fresh facts about the birth and growth of whales. Keep an eye out for updates on how it went, as well as the birthing of more marine animal pups. Octopus. Did you know that octopuses are born from their eggs? Regrettably, this is the most encouraging aspect of octopus reproduction. This group of marine critters' females can only bear young once throughout their lives. Therefore, this procedure is crucial for them. Octopuses may be found in all tropical and subtropical seas, as well as oceans with depths of 100 to 150 meters. They love rocky coastal locations where caves and crevices in the rocks can be found. Their future offspring's nest is a hole in the ground surrounded by a rampart of stones and shells. The female makes a nest in a burrow or cave in shallow water after fertilization and deposits up to 80,000 eggs. The female is always looking after the eggs, rinsing them with a spray of water and using her tentacles to remove any foreign items or dirt from the clutch of eggs. Surprisingly, octopuses have outstanding hunting abilities and enjoy nibbling during their active phase of life, yet during the whole period of egg production, the female is left at the nest without nourishment and frequently dies of weariness. Deep-sea octopuses spend several years around their clutch of eggs after giving birth to their kids because of the low water temperature, which causes egg development to take a long time. Unfortunately, not every baby makes it to adulthood after hatching. In general, the rate of survival is influenced by the habitat region as well as other factors. Only 1% of the children survive in rare circumstances. Dolphin. Many people enjoy dolphins, but have you ever considered how many of these incredible creatures are born each year? Dolphins, unlike other saltwater fish, are viviparous. A female dolphin's pregnancy can last anywhere from 10 to 18 months depending on the species. It's worth noting that the female component of a dolphin pod surrounds, supports and protects the future mother from predators on all sides. It swims away from the group to give birth, attended by an older female. The so-called godmother will function as a midwife during the birth, and a nurse will care for the infant while the mother eats. Later on, the newborns are solely cared for and nursed by the female members of the pod. By the way, the female can only give birth to and rear one young dolphin at a time for several years. From the first minutes of its existence, the newborn infant strives to swim. Its mother summons it with a scream and nudges it with its nose, pushing the baby to the surface of the water and allowing it to take a breath of air, thereby opening its lungs. The infant becomes acclimated to the water and learns to swim within a few weeks after birth. It'll take 3 to 5 months for the newborns to be able to eat on their own. However, because one female cannot have 2 or more kids at the same time, and new members of the group reach maturity at the age of 5, the pod has adequate time to nurture them. Kiwi. Kiwi is also another interesting species of bird found in New Zealand. They have a very unique look with long beaks and nostrils at the end to aid them in capturing and smelling prey. They lay eggs that are not in equal proportion to their bodies. The eggs are usually 6 times the size of the normal chicken egg. They're also flightless birds. The females lay eggs that are 20 to 25% of their body weight. If we were to compare this to a human, it would mean that a 120-pound woman would give birth to a 28 to 35-pound baby. It takes 30 days for the eggs to hatch, and the females triple their food portion. A few days before laying the egg, there's no more space for food, and the kiwi is forced to fast until the chick comes out. Opossum. When you see the opossum for the first time, you'll think it's an oversized kitty cat. They're found in the Americas and are the biggest marsupial in the Americas, even though they look like rodents. They have long snouts and rat-like tails. Gestation lasts 10 to 13 days, which is incomparable to the elephant or the frilled shark. They give birth to 20 hairless offspring, and only half of them survive, given that the way the opossum only has room to accommodate 13 of them in her pouch. The babies double in size after only a week, and in another 8 weeks they can double in size. The offspring develop fully when they're in their mom's pouches. After 5 months, they're capable of leaving their mother and fending for themselves. The opossum gives birth around February to June and might have 3 litters per year. They also have the most diverse diet around. They eat fruit, nuts, grass, but they also eat snakes, worms, rats, and even birds. They sure have an interesting palate. Whales feeding. Researchers were recently able to videotape whales feeding their pups. Because whales are big creatures that may roam over the whole globe's oceans, this procedure is difficult to witness. Scientists from the University of Hawaii, Stanford University, and the University of California used cameras to capture footage of humpback whales feeding their young. Female humpback whales give birth to their children in the warm, shallow seas of the Hawaiian archipelago each year and nurse them from January to March before embarking on their lengthy journey to Alaska. The researchers wanted to know how often and for how long whale newborns need to eat in order to grow robust enough to migrate in the spring. Suction cups were used to attach special cameras to 7 humpback whale newborns. Drones were also deployed to view the whales from the air. According to the researchers, they were able to obtain unique and uncommon film that allows them to examine the feeding process of humpback whales. Experts expect that the information gathered will aid in learning more about the lives of these amazing creatures. Whales. In animals, males and females usually establish a stable partnership, at least until their children are completely independent. During this period, the mother breastfeeds the babies while the father guards and feeds the family. Things are different though when it comes to whales. The male returns to the pod once the female has been fertilized. Females often bear babies between the ages of 10 and 12, although on average a baby is born 11 months following conception. When the mother prepares to give birth after almost a year of bearing young, there is some evidence of other whales being involved in the offspring's fate. The other females in the pods encircle it and do not leave, aiding in guarding it against predators, much like they do with dolphins. Only one kid is usually born, but it is born with a fully formed layer of fat that is important for the animal's thermal insulation. At the time of emergence, the newborn performs its first act of breathing. The experience of change in the environment triggers the reaction. The baby whale, like other aquatic animals, is unable to swim. It frantically waves its tail, but throughout the first several hours of its life it isn't able to move an inch. It's powerless and can't even keep afloat since its body mass exceeds the density of water, and its lungs haven't grown sufficiently to take in adequate oxygen. That's all for now, people. Have you ever witnessed an animal giving birth? Please let us know in the comments section. Thanks for viewing, and we hope to see you again soon.